I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I want to talk to you about the Rocky Talkie 5-watt GMRS radio, which has now become my absolute favorite go-to for hiking, camping, hunting, bicycle riding, motorcycle riding, pretty much any outdoor activities up into including road trips when I'm driving along with the family and want communication from vehicle to vehicle. These things are absolutely amazing. The first topic I want to cover in this video is going to be the price and build quality and spec set that these radios are going to have. And then after that, I want to compare it to 3 commonly purchased radios on the market. Then we're going to talk about the range that these radios are getting, as well as what the GMRS capabilities are really adding to the purchase of one of these over top of like the standard Rocky Talkie Mountain radio or a 2-watt FRS radio. And then we're going to get to the conclusion, and I'm going to tell you exactly my final thoughts. Diving into that price topic, you're going to be looking at $180 for the 5-watt GMRS Rocky Talkie radio, which is definitely on the upper end of the price spectrum. However, when we go over some of these specs right here, I think you're going to see exactly why these are worth the money. And then we're going to go through those comparisons, and I'll show you as you go up in the price ladder, all the things you're gaining and the reasons that you may really want to consider going with a radio at this price and build quality. So let's go through some of the specs and build quality. When it comes to build quality, I'm going to throw up a video right now. This is a buddy of mine, Taylor Gibbler. He has a YouTube channel called Tea Time in the Alpines, and he's using, as you can see in it, the Mountain radio, so the 2-watt version of one of these, and he has it totally frozen over, and yet it still works. It's still something that he is trusting his life with because these radios can handle extremely cold temperatures. They can be used in really, really hot temperatures in those summer hunts out in desert areas. They have a really wide variety of conditions that they can be used in. I'll also throw up a video right here. This is me hunting just the other month out in the snow and some heavy rain that I was going through with the 5-watt radio. And one of the really cool features and updates from the 2-watt to the 5-watt is the way that this porting works right here on the radio. Water drains out really quickly, and what that does is it allows when you hit the talk button on the radio for you not to have that mumbled sound through the voice trying to get through the water to the mic. It washes it out somehow and works amazing. So all those transmissions with this radio are extremely clear. You don't have to hit the button and keep trying to talk back and have somebody saying, "Oh, I can't hear you, do it again." You say it once, they hear you, and you move on with the conversation or whatever actions you need to take. Now this is IP67 waterproof, so it's the most waterproof radio that Rocky Talkie makes, and one of, if not the most waterproof radio out of all the hunting styled handheld radios on the market. This thing can be submerged. I've definitely tested that, been in really heavy rains with it just getting dumped on. I leave it on my shoulder strap on my pack or throw it on my bino harness, and I have no worries about this thing making it through the hunt and failing because of water or ice or that kind of stuff. Not going to happen. These are amazing. They have a shatterproof screen on the front here. So it's kind of an interesting look when you're looking at the screen itself. It has kind of like a frosted look to it, and that also is really nice. I know if I drop this, or especially with these, I haven't really dropped much. I've only had them for about half a year now for usage, but my mountain radios I've had for about 3 years now, and those I have dropped many times. They have the same style screen, and they take hits off rocks and the dirt and ground and stuff like that really, really well. You also have a replaceable battery in the back of this, so you can purchase a spare battery and put that on here. However, the battery life on these is phenomenal. And when we get to the head-to-head comparisons between some of the other radios, you are definitely going to see why this is just leaps and bounds ahead. I can easily get on the 5-watt radio 6 days standby time. That's without a question. If you're just sitting there, maybe a few transmissions here and there, but for the most part, just standby. You're in a situation where you need to stay alive, or you're hiking along, doing a through hike, and you just want to be able, if some other person coming through reaches out to you and you want to leave this on, you don't have to worry about that. But where this, again, is leaps and bounds above the others, we'll get to this in the comparisons, but these charge via USB-C right here on the side, which is another huge upgrade compared to pretty much every other radio on the market, because you can charge this off of a solar panel, you can charge it off of a wall outlet, you can charge this off of a battery bank, if you have one in your pack. Really versatile on how you're going to charge this radio. Another feature that I want to talk about is going to be the replaceable antenna. So as you can see between these two, I have a whip antenna on here, and then I have the standard antenna that it comes with in the box. You just unscrew the antenna and you can put on whatever else you want. So if you're driving along in the car and you want a longer antenna on your rig to reach out to people, boom, unscrew this one. Leave it sitting there in the console. When you get out to go hunt, just unscrew it and put the next one on to the smaller form factor. It is a big feature that very, very few 5-watt GMRS radios that are handheld like this offer, is to be able to replace that antenna. So right there, we're getting through a bunch of the features. Comes with a gator clip on the back. It is a adjustable gator clip, so you can put it at whatever angle on your pack that you want. It's got a good tactile button here on the side that is easy to find when wearing gloves and manipulate. It does have the audible chirp where if you key up, it will, doop, and let you know. I don't use that because I use this a lot for hunting, so I have that turned off, which is nice. They allow you to disable that. It does have a screen lock, so right now you can see I'm on channel 22, security code 1. If up here on the top, there is a little toggle switch. If you hold that forward, you'll see the lock goes away. Now I can change, whatever channel I want, and then relock that again. It'll tell you if you're on high or low, and then it's gonna tell you once you get into the GMRS modes to where you can hit the repeater and come back down, it will also show that. Last thing I want to touch on when it comes to features for this radio right now is going to be the NOAA capabilities. So it can scan all NOAA frequencies. You can have it just where you check the NOAA radio system and get weather updates, or you can have it to where it's constantly scanning and getting those updates. So it gives you a lot of safety features all built into one radio, so that if you're out there in the field, you can trust your life to these if need be. Now let's talk about a few of the commonly purchased other radios on the market that I see. People might say, well, this is $180, why not go with this radio or this one? So let's narrow that down. So a really common radio is going to be the BaoFENG. As you can see here, I own a BaoFENG. My family has quite a few of them. These are going to run you anywhere from $22 to about $50, $60. And they work really well for certain purposes. So this to me is a vehicle or house radio. They can run ham, they can run GMRS, and they can run FRS frequencies. So if you want to get into programming radios, being able to hit repeaters, this can listen to police frequencies if you put in the proper information. They're a pretty cool thing to learn. However, that's about where the cool factor ends. They're made out of pretty cheap plastics. They're not very waterproof. They use a charge dock to have to charge these. They're, not the best built. It's not something I would trust my life to, but it is a good radio if you're just getting into wanting to learn how all those frequencies work, and playing around with programming radios and that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for something just to play around with in the house, or like I said, in a vehicle, this may be an okay option to go with. However, if you're getting into any sort of extreme situation, mountain climbing, hiking, extreme backpacking, hunting, motorcycle riding, bad weather situations, this is not going to be where you want to trust your life. And so I would automatically switch to one of the Rocky Talkies. The next commonly purchased radio people consider when talking about going out hunting and hiking and backpacking is something like this Midland 2-pack that I have up on the screen right here. So these are usually going to be around $99 to $150-ish. You get 2 radios, and they are a 2-watt specific radio. So they do not have replaceable antennas. They are not the 5-watt power that can hit a GMRS repeater. Very, very rarely do they take rechargeable by like USB-C batteries. They almost always have a recharge dock, as shown in the picture right here, where they're sitting in the charge dock. You can put AA batteries in them, but their battery life in those kind of situations is usually no more than about 12 hours if you're talking on them. So they have really, really poor battery life. You're carrying extra batteries. If you're out on a fly-in hunt or out in the field, you're not able to charge them via USB-C or a solar panel or a charge block. So they become a lot more complicated to deal with that way. You're carrying a lot of batteries with you. And like I said, they do not run the 5-watt GMRS capabilities. So if you're in really hilly terrains, you're not able to hit a repeater, and so your range gets shrunk down quite a bit. The other issue with these kind of radios is very few of them are IP67 waterproof rated or shatterproof, and so in those extreme conditions, they do not handle the temperatures or the really, really wet days as well as something like the 5-watt Rocky Talkies. So for me, all those features combined disqualify them for me. I'm going to spend a little bit extra money, get the Rocky Talkie that's going to have way better battery life, better range capabilities, better weather proofness, whether it's really cold or really hot. It's just more feature packed and going to be a better radio. So that's why I would go away from like the Midland 2-pack. While we are on the topic of the Midland 2-pack radio comparison, I do want to state, if you don't want to spend the full $180, don't need those GMRS capabilities, you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, for that $100 to $110 price range, Rocky Talkie does offer their 2-watt Mountain radio. So this one right here, I've used it for years. This is the one you saw Taylor Gibbler using in that mountaineering video. This would be a direct competitor when it comes to signal strength to something like those $99 2-packs. This again would be one single radio for that $100 to $110. However, this has the shatterproof screen, way more waterproof, the same battery life as the 5-watt GMRS radios. This has the capability of, popping open the side, putting on a mic, all that kind of stuff. But it's in a really light form factor. It's USB-C chargeable down here on the bottom, just like the 5-watt. So if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, you don't need that GMRS capabilities and being able to switch out the antenna, then I would definitely say look at this Mountain radio. I have a review on this that I've done in the past, so go ahead and check that out. But this would be the option I would go with in that situation. And the last radio comparison I want to bring up is going to be another Midland option. There are a few others on the market, but this one I'm the most familiar with, and it's their 5-watt GMRS capable radio. So their radio has a few interesting issues that would make it to where I prefer and do prefer the 5-watt Rocky Talkie. So the Midland does not have a removable antenna, so you're not able to switch to a longer whip or hook it into like a car antenna system. So you're stuck with the antenna that comes on it. They also do not, again, offer, and I don't understand why, the capabilities of USB-C charging. So you're stuck with using some sort of a charge dock. You can see it here in the picture. It comes with a charge dock, and you can use that with like an AC plug-in in the car, cigarette lighter type thing. But you can't charge it out in the field easily at all. And so that would automatically disqualify it for me. But the battery life on those is worse. You're looking at a couple days at best. The screen on them is a lot more of a radio head, as people would call it, specific kind of screen. So a lot more information, a lot more complicated to run through the menus. This is designed around, like, I have big bulky gloves on and I need the important information, and that's it. It needs to be simple and quick to get through. And Rocky Talkie's done a good job with that. So the Midlands because of those couple drawbacks, it's also not IP67 waterproof. This one is. I would not trust my life to the Midland, and you're actually spending more money. It's $200 for the Midland radio compared to the $180 of the 5-watt GMRS Rocky Talkie. So without a doubt, hands down, this again would win out over top of the Midland in this situation. And most of the other companies' 5-watt GMRS radios have very similar specs to the Midland and are typically higher priced when it comes to the Rocky Talkie. Now let's get to one of the most important topics, which is going to be the range of the radios. So right here I have the FRS Mountain radio and the 5-watt GMRS Rocky Talkie radio. So the difference between these two when it comes to range all comes into the main factor being the GMRS ability to hit a repeater and come down the other side of a mountain. Now there is a little bit of a difference when it comes to 5-watt transmission power compared to 2-watt transmission power. And where that typically comes in is about the 1 to 3 mile range when you're in mountainous conditions, forested conditions, I should say. The 5-watt is going to come across clearer, and you will get a little bit of extra distance out of that, kind of bumping around the trees, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, these two radios have a fairly similar transmission distance, like if you're in the woods and on a fairly flat hunting area. This one will just sound a little bit clearer, a little bit stronger, but they'll both reach just about as far. However, as soon as you throw a hill in between, the 5 watts has a little bit better chance of making it up and around or bouncing off of a hill and getting that connection. But if there's a repeater in play, then the 5-watt is a world of difference because you're hitting that repeater coming right down the other side and you have full transmission strength, as where with the 2-watt, you don't have that capability. You also don't have, with 2 watts, you're not allowed to have a replaceable antenna, and you can on the GMRS. And so like you see over here, I have the whip antenna, or you can put it on the car. So when it comes to distances, riverbeds, those kind of things, typically winding along, you're going to be anywhere from about a half a mile to about 2 miles has been my personal experience when out like fishing. In forested areas that are, treed, not like just you're in the rainforest, but standard hunting areas with trees and that kind of stuff that are just slightly rolling along, but not major mountains in between. You're looking up to around 3-4-ish miles was what I was getting typically. If you're in a city environment, it drops quite a bit. You're about a half a mile to 0.8 of a mile, I found, typically. You have a lot of buildings, other electronics that are interfering with the signals. And then when you're in the mountainous terrains, you have a huge difference, again, like I said, between the FRS and the GMRS radio, because you can hit that repeater and come down the other side. Now, Rocky Talkie themselves has a video called FRS versus GMRS range. This video is a non-biased video. Yes, they are using their GMRS and FRS radios, but it shows you the principles and the differences in a really, really good format. So if you want to know which one you need and different uses, that video will answer it. And that's no matter what brand of radio you're looking at, that video is phenomenal. So I definitely recommend you check that out. If you decide, I think I want to go with the GMRS radio, but I don't fully understand how to connect this to the towers and get it to repeat, they also have connecting to repeaters, a video on Rocky Talkie's YouTube channel. And again, it is extremely well laid out. It's speaking specifically how to connect with their radio and how to set it up. However, this would also show you what the general concept is if you were to buy or own some other company's GMRS radio. But when it comes to the range, I prefer having that safety net of a little bit more power to be able to get through the trees, and the ability, if I'm in an area where there are repeaters, to be able to hit that and come right down the other side. But If you're gonna be in just small hunting groups or hiking groups where you're staying really close together, the FRS one may work just fine for you. Overall, if you want the strongest, one of the most feature-packed radios on the market, and in my opinion, the best GMRS 5-watt radio on the market, the Rocky Talkie radios are definitely the way to go. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more content like this coming out soon. Thank you for watching.